several players are Sioux, of course, but how have they changed otherwise?
They are basically the same. They haven't changed very much at all. They're very aggressive with their defense, and not that they blitz a lot, but they line up and do what we call match, and they're going to have your guy take their guy's going to take your guy. He's going to have him all over the field. So that's why they're shutting down everybody's passing attack. I think Washington's great quarterback. They all say he's a number one draft pick, maybe the best quarterback in the country, was 6 of 20, I think. So they make it very, very difficult because they can get pressure on you with 4. Their linebackers are more in the 200-pound to 210 range that can really run with your backs and tight ends and wide receivers, and then their corners can really cover. So it's very, very difficult to get people open.
Their defense plays a lot differently than Oklahoma.
Yes. Oklahoma is much more multiple than Nebraska.
After a couple losses like that, I know the bye week's good for the players. As a coach, how is it good for you in particular to be able to step back and kind of look at things?
It's good and bad. The bad part is you have to wait another 2 weeks to have a chance to play. So it's the pain of losing stays with you. So it's a very difficult thing. It's not like basketball and baseball. You can play on Tuesday and play again on Thursday and play on Saturday and play on Sunday and get you another 4 next week, and you can get it fixed easier. The good thing for us is we needed to heal. We had 3 very physical games with Texas Tech, UCLA, and Oklahoma. Very emotional game, 2 of those 3. And then we also had some things we need to fix. So we went back to work and are trying to do a better job with the things that haven't been done well. It's funny, parts of our kicking game have been good, but they haven't all been good on the same day. I was just thinking about our punt block and punt return team's been so good throughout the years, and we've given up 21 points and haven't scored any on that team. So there's some fundamentally sound things that we need to fix, and hopefully a lot of those got fixed because Nebraska can sure expose you if you don't play well.
Any major changes you guys made in the couple weeks, or was it just little?
Well, it's little things. Coaches are at a real disadvantage when they sit at a 15-minute press conference and people want to know how all the offensive line played and what changes did we make on defense. Now, you really can't get into some of those things anyway because we don't want to say what we've changed for Nebraska. And then secondly, it's hard to explain it in a soundbite, and that's what people expect. It's a difficult thing to do. That's where we get the terms coach speak.
Mack, I know that each game is mutually exclusive when it comes to depending on each other, but this is a pretty big stretch. Can you just expand more on that and how you mentally approach that sort of thing? Because you can't pay attention too much to what's happening already.
One more time now. Help me a little bit.
Is this game stretch as connected as it appears, or is there anything to the fact that it's a tough stretch when you're talking about OU, Nebraska, and
Yes, I think it's very similar to the 4 games we had back in 2008. It was Oklahoma, Missouri, Oklahoma State, and Tech. And 2 of those were ranked in the top 8, I think, at that time. So going to Tech's tough regardless of whether they're playing well or not. It's an emotional game, a tough trip. UCLA obviously surprised us, and we didn't play well, but it was a physical game, and we got beaten up in it. And then you have the emotional and physical game with Oklahoma last week, and now pulling up with a Nebraska team that I said is maybe as good as anybody in the country. So what we will do, this will be the last game of the first season. It's mid-season. It'll be 6, and then we'll start over next week. And our guys understand that because they're running option and they're doing some new things, we like the fact that we had 10 days to prepare because you need that with this look. And not only do you have trouble preparing with his speed, he makes everybody else better on their football team, and especially the offensive side. So it has been a tough stretch, but it's a stretch that should make us grow up and make us be better too. We're not going to play better teams than last week and this week.
Coach, on the offensive side of the ball, you talked about the inconsistency. When you look back at the beginning of the year and the offense you wanted to implement, is that still the goal that's out there, or have you had to change kind of what the ultimate goal is as it's gone along?
Yeah, I think some people have totally gone off the end of the road with what offense we wanted to implement. All we ever said was we'd like to have more balance with our running game. That was it. And it got huge. Like I said, I shouldn't have said anything about it, but because it gives everybody something to yell at when you're losing. And that hasn't changed. We are running the ball better than we were at this time last year. We're not running it near where we'd like to. But as far as being balanced, that's what we'd like to do, and that's our goal still, and we're not there right now. And we've been back to the same offense probably for the last 3 or 4 weeks that we ran all last year and throughout Colt's career, so we haven't changed anything. We just like to run it better.
Mack, the last few years, I think your teams always believe they're going to win regardless. Is there a fear now that it's kind of flipped because these guys aren't used to struggling like they have last season?
That's something that there's so many on the team that it's hard to say. I'm sure that some of the young ones may be worried about that a little bit. Some of the old ones know they can win. I told them last night when they got back for our team meeting that if they looked at all on Saturday, winning's really hard. I mean, Florida's lost 2 in a row. I mean, it's hard to win, and sometimes we take that for granted. And as players and coaches, we cannot take that for granted. We've got to go back and do the things we need to do to ensure that we get back on track and not take any win for granted. We've been griping about wins around here as coaches and players for a long time. After you lose 2, you're not going to gripe about a win again.
Do you see the want to from your players?
Yes, they're really, really trying. And I think that's part of growing up. You know, I was a little bit worried because you've got some older guys on this team and some young ones that are playing, and you never know how they're going to mesh. And we always say it in preseason, but people don't know how their team's going to respond till you get in the fourth quarter in a tight game. And like we said, I liked how we responded out at Tech. I didn't like it at UCLA. I liked the second half of the way we played last week. I didn't like the first half. So it's a team that's growing up, and that we just need to grow up fast.
Do you like this position that very few people are saying you've got a chance to win this week? You're 8.5-point underdogs, and it's all Nebraska and little talk about Texas.
Yeah, I'm surprised anybody said it, Ed. I hadn't heard anybody say it. So you said very few. That means there's some hope out there. It must have been Sally and you. There's 2 of us, Ed, that would do that. You know, we haven't been an underdog around here in a long time. I guess Alabama was one of the few for the last few years, maybe in 08 against Oklahoma. And we've been an underdog the last 2 weeks now in a row. So it's new for us. I don't like it. It means you're not playing very well.
Max, has there been a moment or two in the last couple of weeks, or the last week, I guess, that you've seen this team grow up, or you've seen somebody make that step as a leader, or give a speech or something to kind of get everybody on?
You can do things in practice, and you can have speeches, and you can have player meetings, and you can do all that. But until you produce on the field, they're not effective. And that's what we've told the guys. You can do it, but you got to do it on TV in front of a national scene to win a game that we're in trouble with, to step up and be the strong leader that you need to be. And that's what we're asking the guys to do. Who's going to step up on Saturday at 2:30? They can be. They had a great practice this morning. They're all excited about going, and we've told them that it's going to be a hard-fought game, and you can't play it on Monday, you can't play it on Tuesday, but make plays during the game to change the momentum of the game. And then we can stand up and say, you have become the leader. And that's something that we saw inconsistently from Tech up through Oklahoma. So it's something that we've got to do on a stronger basis here for the rest of the year to be successful.